All right, of course, damn it. Of course it got cloudy right when I was gonna turn them on. So let's just try them out. I'll show them what they look like in the sun. They got the button on this side. And they're on. Let's do, shit, 410, back out. There we go. I'm on the roof all the time, so this is gonna be like an everyday scenario for me, is how they do in the sun. So I'm gonna check that real quick, and we're gonna run this. They said it runs, or it's okay, but it's on the fritz, is a quote that the customer used. So normally for something like this, I use probes, close up the panel, don't worry about it. But you know, we're testing these out, trying to answer some questions that I've gotten. So it is visible, it's just not as vibrant. As you can see, now that it gets cloudy, it gets a little bit brighter. You can see it more. So it's pretty, but outside it's very dim. It's still visible, it's just not, you're not gonna have that look that it has. Like, I can see the numbers and that's about it. When it gets sunny, right now it's cloudy again. So we're just gonna be monitoring this. I wish more companies would add a magnet or of some sort, because you cannot add a, what do you call it? Those straps on a lot of these digital ones. Those are meant for analogs, those little, I don't know if it's Subco that makes a magnet strap. And that's where I had made this like years ago from some Amazon parts. It's rubber, so it won't scuff up the unit, and I used to carry it with me when I used to use manifolds more, so I can put this anywhere, hang the manifold so it's not sitting in water. All right, let's check the other side now. Hola, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe for more honest reviews like this. Now in today's video, we're going to take a look at the new N2DX, which is the Flex X manifold from Navac. We got the box right here. This is their manifold gauge with the HD color graphic interface. You know, people are asking, what can it do? How do you hook up this, that? These are basically the same exact thing as your analogs. There is no clamp support, wireless or wired, and it doesn't do superheat, subcool, any other calculations. Strictly an analog interface with the digital accuracy and the benefit of having 72 refrigerants at the click of a button, basically. Your analogs, you would need a PT chart. This you do not, and it's accurate and has all, you know, everything you would need to hook up and get your saturation temperature. Like I said, no superheat, no subcool, nothing automatic, no app support, no clamps to do any of these calculations that I mentioned. Who is this for? Would I recommend it? And, you know, how does it work? All right, so these are the gauges themselves. They do have a hook in the back that goes down, magnetic. I like that. And very rugged. The outer shell is a rubberized hard case, essentially, so impact rated, drop tested, all of that good stuff. And let's go ahead and turn them on. You got a button on the side here. You got a USB-C charging port. I'm gonna see how long that battery does last. We'll see if we can get that in the video. And then if we push the power button there, it's like a 5-second hold to turn it on. There's your display. Now this display is beautiful, I will say. You got blue and orange. They did it their way. Can't tell if they're LCD or OLED, but very nice and crisp. So it's going to read the same as an analog. You have your pressure on the outer ring. It'll tell you the saturation temperature right here in the middle. I have not done a vacuum on this, but you can tell that it does read vacuum. Most digital gauges or probes can read up to a certain point. Like I said, most manifolds, you do get that negative 30 inches of mercury under 0. So the old school way of doing a vacuum, you go to that 29.9, hold the vacuum, and you know, if it stays there, you're good. So this obviously is not going to have a micron gauge built in. It is a 3-port. You have this knob on the side that is also a button. You push it in and you have basically a menu here. So this is refrigerants. You can see what version you're on. Auto screen off. So you can set that to 210. We're going to turn that off so I can test the battery. Auto power off. Your units, Fahrenheit or Celsius. Pressure, PSI is what we use. And then if you go into refrigerants, you click. And like I said, you have access to 72 different refrigerants. So the benefit here is you wouldn't need a PT chart essentially when you're doing your checks, basically. So if you want to exit, you hit the power button and you're back on the regular screen. All right, guys, so we're gonna do a battery test. These are rated for 100-hour battery life. I'm pretty sure they meant on standby mode. So first thing I noticed is it wouldn't take any of my fast chargers, my high watt chargers, so I had to put it on a basic one. Our test starts at 2:30 and it took from completely dead about an hour 15, an hour and a half to completely fully charge up. And remember, we turned off the auto off function and the auto screen off function. So if you leave the screen on and a true battery test shows 4 hours, 4.5 hours, they will die. You can see and compare versus an analog and something like a field piece that uses that old school screen, which ones do well in the sun. I think they would benefit also from an anti-glare or anti-reflective screen, but you be the judge. Okay, so these analogs, this manifold is very eye-catching. It's very pretty. So if you look at it, the screen's super clear, the colors are vibrant, all of that good stuff. Now, would I recommend this? So this does not do any sort of deep checks that you would need to be doing. So if you guys are stuck with analog, or if you've ever used analog, maybe because today's day and age is completely different from when I got into the trade. And you know, up until a few years ago, I think analogs were a must, whereas now I would encourage people to get probes right away. I would encourage an actual digital manifold that does everything. That's just me. So this falls in a completely different category, which I'll get into in a bit. Now, the interface, easy to use, easy to switch to different refrigerants. You do have to click it a few times and then, you know, you finally get to your refrigerant. So there's that. The benefit here, like I said, is just that you have everything that you need without a PT chart. You have the accuracy of digital, but after that, there's nothing else that it does. Navac has done really well in the price category. These are $250 after taxes and everything from what I've seen at all supply houses, All of the online stores, they are around $229, $230, and then you're gonna add taxes. So here in Texas, you would get this for like 250 bucks. At 250 bucks, it is not a horrible purchase or investment if you really just want a basic set of gauges. I keep hitting the button by accident. If you have analog and you want a more accurate set without having to bust out a PT chart, then yes, this is a nice upgrade. So I use a manifold with clamps, with a scale on startups. So whenever we're doing a new walk-in box, I don't really do split systems. I do more refrigeration stuff, commercial. So on a lot of those startups, we are going to be using, or I am going to be using a manifold. The further and further we get in HVAC equipment, the advances that we make, the more technical that we have to be as HVAC technicians. You really need to be checking your superheat and subcool. Whether it's a split system or residential, a walk-in box, freezer, typically I still check superheat and subcool. You charge a lot by superheat and subcool. Do you want to do the math? That's up to you. You would need a separate thermometer to do it, and you need to do it manually. So again, for the guys that asked, there is no clamp support, wireless or wired. There's nothing that you can plug into this thing. It is strictly just to read my pressure and my saturated temperature. I started using this. That's the clip that you saw in the beginning. I had been using their analogs, and I really do like this set here because it has everything that I need as far as the temperature. So this specific N2A4 manifold by Navac has 404, 134A, R22, and 410A. This worked great for me. I know we're stepping into the A2Ls and everything, so it's going to be completely different now. Analog, as long as you have anything after 410 is fine, because the only reason you had to upgrade from a gauge like this one that was reading low pressure to 410A that reads way more is because 410A was way higher than anything that we've had before. So you needed something that read over 400, 500 PSI. That was the only time that I actually had to change out the actual analog gauges. After 410, everything else is just what's the related temperature, because I can read up to, like on this one, up to 800 PSI. Any refrigerant is going to work here. You just have to do the conversion, which I used to carry around a paper PT chart, and I did it all the time, so I'm used to converting. That's just me. Now I have it on my phone. I do a little scroll and I get my saturated temperature. If you're new and you want to spend the extra money, these are cool. Granted, at 250 bucks, they are twice the price of analogs. This is a 4-port, but this is a 3-port. So I'm gonna compare it to a 3-port. A 3-port analog is about 120 bucks. And that's for a good brand like Yellow Jacket. This is Imperial, I like this one too. Navac even has like $100, I think they have $100 analogs as well. So at 250 bucks, you're paying twice the price. Would I recommend that for a new guy that pays for their own tools? Not really. As a business owner, I don't mind getting the guys something like this, especially the older guys. I would rather them use this than an actual analog gauge. So as a business owner, I can get these for the guys. As a new guy that's actually buying it, you could save 100 bucks and get an analog, or you could actually save that 100 bucks over time, buy an actual manifold that does all that stuff. The build quality is nice. You saw in the beginning the sun, it doesn't do great in the sun. It looks great in the dark. It looks great at night. A lot of you, if you do residential, you're gonna get some shade here and there. You might set up your umbrella, whatever. you know, that it's gonna be visible. I'm on a rooftop, and especially around lunchtime, the sun is just right on you. So at that point, this, and I compared it to smartphones because smartphones have about 1500 nit brightness. That's how you would measure that. I can't measure this. I don't see it marked anywhere. If I do, I'll put it up on the screen, but this seems to be under 1000 nits. I could be wrong, but I mean, only they would know. 1500, 2000 is perfect, but 1500 to 2000 is the nit brightness you would need. Think of your smartphone, your iPhones, anything. Usually they're around 1500 and they can peak when they're out in the sun to 2000. Whereas something like this that is most likely under 1000, 600, 700, you're gonna have a hard time. So it reminds me of back 5 years ago when I got a text or a call and I had to do this and kind of give it some shade to actually read what I was trying to see on the screen. So that kind of goes the same with this. So in most, and like I mentioned, in most cases, you're gonna be able to see it. So one thing, I did already text them about it. I can't take full credit for it because someone did remind me, but think about your iPhone and it having a light mode and a dark mode. I wanna say another company has already done this, but if you could give us a day mode on this to where the screen just went white or whatever it was and the letters were black, maybe bold, this could work in the sunlight, I think, very well. The problem with this, and a lot of the newer, I mean, other brands do it, they do the black screen with the thin white letters, and it's hard to see. It's not very visible in the sun. So without the brightness being up there, if you want to stick to this, we could do a firmware update and get a white background instead with dark numbers, and that might be more visible during the day. So I like that idea. I think that's a cool one. Something else you saw me struggle with in the beginning is actually taking these off wherever I'm hanging them from. I've never have liked these hooks that they have. So these are basically the same. They don't stay up at all. There is no friction, there is nothing there. So let's say you hang this up somewhere. As soon as you pick it up, the hook just falls and you're there struggling to get it off. So imagine, you know, being on a roof or whatever you're working on, you're doing something and you just want to grab them real quick, you're gonna have a hard time. You actually got to get there, get it by the hook, and I even dropped it in the clip. So never liked this hook being so flimsy, not flimsy, but like there's no friction, there's nothing. And my other manifolds, the hook does have a little bit of friction to where it stays up on its own and I can quickly hook it on somewhere. Because like even that, you gotta try to keep it like that and then try not to tilt it that way so you can actually reach and then hook it. Pet peeve of mine, I wish this would stay up on its own. Just making it easier to hang and remove whether you're on the job or in the van is just annoying. I assume they do it so that you can lay this down flat on something, but never liked the hangers on the side. My hoses, they took the shape of it finally, but you do have to crisscross them to be able to put it over your shoulder. Again, I'm a rooftop technician. A lot of these I feel like are meant for more residential techs. I put it over and strap it across my chest to go on the roof. I've always done it that way. A lot of people do it that way, or even on your one shoulder. These are a lot harder to do one shoulder, so I would recommend over crossbody, but these make it hard when it's just front to back, even like this one. Should have just made these the same exact as this middle one, where it's just right there, right in front. The hoses are so much easier to grab and put on and go up on the roof. So just another pet peeve. So let me show it on the old one first. So I never understood why these have to be flat. You see where you would hook up to the system, it is flared. These are flat. these are flat. For some reason on this one, they did actually change the shape of it to where it is more closer to the flared one, but these sides are not. And that even feels weird putting it on there. I don't feel the gasket gripping on it. I think it just stops threading right there. So it just feels weird. And a lot of times when I finish with the tank, I want to take that away, but I still want to check the system. And I have this hooked up, but then I'm like, oh, I don't want to waste what's in the high side hose. I want to pass it through. If this is ever so off center or any looseness at all, it'll leak. It was worse on the old one, so I know they made a change to it. The thing is, your gasket there has to be perfect. You can see this one's already recessed a little bit, so it probably will leak. So I never liked these flat parts to the hangers there, on top of them being on the side. I think this is a weird orientation. But like I said, I do love the build of it. I absolutely love these quarter turn knobs. Now it does tell you here, like it gives you like a little indicator, like it's off in this position, and then like you can slowly open the valve up, and then it's fully open when it's all the way up. These quarter turn valves are amazing. I do prefer these over traditional knobs where you're trying to spin the crap out of them. And this one you can just meter it in a little at a time, or if you're on the high side and you need to break the vacuum and charge it up, you can just open it all the way. These are very simple. I love these quarter turn knobs here. If they would add a magnet or fix the hook, so much better. Display's good. I can't wait to see when they can make it brighter or get that day mode like I mentioned. And it's not just Navac. I know a lot of companies are making like the black screens. I guess that's I don't know if cost has anything to do with it, but it looks cooler, right? Like it's a black screen, you get the white letters, all that. The JBs have it, some of my Milwaukee stuff has it. It has to be bright enough though for it to work. A lot of them are not. So, you know, that can be fixed with a firmware update. Man, these things, this block here is extremely sharp. I've already dug into my hand a couple times just holding it for you guys. Those edges are sharp. So would I buy these? Would I recommend these? So the funny thing is, I actually did buy my guy, or one of my older techs at our company, the Yellow Jacket digital. Now those were crazy expensive. So I found them a little bit cheaper, like when I Googled from random places, but like if I go to True Tech Tools, this was a set that we got him, and it's a $300 manifold. So we got him these digital gauges by Yellow Jacket. So I've bought this kind of stuff before and paid the premium. He needed something. I just got tired of him using analog, so I bought him this digital set that was plain Jane. It did have a backlight. It did have just that, and that's the screen that I'm talking about that is easy to read outside. It's just that old school digital clock interface. So that, I like that kind of screen. But anyway, I guess I paid $300 for it. I don't remember. I know it was expensive. And then like buying them individually, it's better to buy the set because buying them individually is $155. So this is what I bought for my guy that strictly used analogs, that did not know how to use a proper set with the clamps and everything to hook up to it, or didn't know how to use probes at the time. So that scenario is what reminds me of this right here. You're trying to get it for a new guy, but maybe he's not spending the money, the company is, or an older tech that has not made the conversion yet to digital manifolds with all the bells and whistles or the probe sets, and he can get this, kind of get used to it, and then go from there. Because that guy that I got that digital Yellow Jacket set for ended up wanting probes, and we got him some probes. So It's a stepping stone. It's a basic set. Some guys use this. I've been seeing guys use this for pressure tests, you know, things like that, quick checks. But the thing is, we got these for free because of the HVAC Tactical Award Show. And, you know, props to Navac. I love what they're doing, helping others. Everybody that attended the award show, everybody that attended the HVAC school symposium, they're getting these sets. So you're going to see them everywhere online. But you have to ask, would you actually pay money for them? For one of my guys, I would. And I'm going to give this to my newer guys that are coming in that we're hiring. But I still want them to know what superheat and subcool is. So I will, like, eventually we're going to get them up to probes or a full set that takes clamps, you know, that kind of thing. But like, would I buy them for myself? No. Am I keeping any of these that I got? No. I'm not even going to keep the analog one. I liked it, but it's frustrating. Personally, I'm waiting for the field piece analog set because I still like to use an analog set. I need just 3-port. Just my preference. These are my opinions, my experience with a lot of the tools that I show on this channel. Like I said, the most common question was, how do I hook these up to the app? You can't hook up any clamps to it, anything like that. So if you were looking for a set that you could hook up to a system and walk away and monitor, or you could hook up and check superheat or subcool, this does none of that. I just wanted to answer that question and then give my little nitpick at the design. But if you like them, if you think they look cool, if you got the money to kind of spend here, then by all means make your own decision. You guys are grown. You guys can make your own you guys can form your own opinion. The only people that I look out for are the viewers that are new to the trade, saving up their hard-earned money, spending their own money. Now, I've been back and forth with Navac. I've been back and forth with a lot of companies. This goes to any company that has ever watched any of my videos. These are honest reviews. Even if I get a sponsorship, they understand that I use many different products. I have my own opinions. If I don't like something, that's not ever going to be pushed. Whatever I do like or I have been using beforehand, before they even sponsored, that is what I'll talk about. So honest reviews, honest use scenarios, that's kind of how the channel is here. I will say Navac did write me a letter about something else. And, you know, they are actively looking for criticism and how to fix, or ways to fix any problems, any issues that anybody has. So if you guys have an opinion on these gauges or anything Navac, leave them down below. If you guys have any recommendations, suggestions, or things like a wish list, leave them down below because they see this content. And the only way they're gonna do better is if I'm honest, the comments are filled with like opinions or, you know, suggestions, and, you know, they see it. If like any brand sees this, send these out to actual technicians that are using them. Get more of these products into, there's so many people online doing this now that I am all for. I love, you know, if you guys are starting out content creation, let me know, hit me up, ask me questions. I answer all of them. I answer so many questions every day about content creation. Whether it was this, the probes, JB has sent some stuff over. Within a day, I found a bunch of stuff that I didn't like or that broke on me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully that was helpful. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you guys.